I'd rather show you what I got. Where I walk, where I talk. See me flying down my route, pass me the ball. I ain't dropping none, I don't fumble at all. Winner, chicken dinner every time we ball. Throwing it like a burner, I dunk it like LeBron. Hey. Monday Night Fredo, Infinity TV.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here live to Monday Night Fredo. Myself, Fredo Cervantes, on this amazing Monday and a wild Monday it has been today. Of course, NFL free agency is set to kick off on March the 15th. Guess what? Today, March the 13th, we are having a battle of free agency signings, of course. Technically, they cannot officially sign until Wednesday, but as of today, there has been lots of moves, and I will talk about all those moves. Of course, I can finally say that the Raiders somewhat got a quarterback. Not a good one, but a hurt one. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, as well as the NBA world. We are only about 15 games away from the regular season, and guess what? The Lakers lost a big one last night here at the Crypto.com Arena against the New York Knicks, and believe it or not, they are out of the playoff picture in the meantime right now, even though they're somewhat right there. They're tied with losses. There were just one game under 500. Now they're 2 games under 500. But what is it going to take for the Lakers to make the playoffs this year? I have something to say about how they can make it and what's going to happen in order for them not to make the playoffs. But Team USA right now, the World Classic Baseball is underway as Team USA is up 9-0 in the second inning against Canada. Oh, Canada. What can I say besides you guys getting smacked around today? Because Team USA has something to do today. They had to win in order to join the tournament and actually get a chance to compete for the World Classic. After last night, they got beat up by Mexico yesterday here at Chase Field in Arizona. They got beat up 11-5. What a big run it was for Mexico last night. But USA's back on it today. Mike Trout hit a home run. Mookie Betts is getting on base. So it's a good thing for Team USA. But it's not a good thing for John Moran. Of course, this is where I'm going to start my show off with today. We realized that last week we talked a lot about John Moran. We talked about how young he is, what a young person he is. It was someone who's not making the right decisions right now. He finally made a right decision today. Of course, it was reported earlier this afternoon that John Moran has entered some sort of rehab mental facility kind of thing. They didn't give too many details in regarding what type of space he's joining over there, but he joined a program. Not too sure how long that program's going to last for or how long he's going to be in it for, but he is in Florida right now, away from the team, and will be away for the next few weeks. According to Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN, he did mention that there is no set time and date, but he is expecting Ja to be away for a few more weeks. Of course, I just said right now, we're 15 games away from the end of the regular season, and the Memphis Grizzlies are still right in the middle of the Western Conference. Can they actually win and maybe do some noise, make some noise without John Morant on the court for them? I don't think so, especially losing their other teammate, not Bane, forgot his name. They lost him to a torn Achilles last weekend. So you got 2 of the key players, 2 starters out for the next few weeks. Honestly, don't think so. Even though they beat down on the Dallas Mavericks tonight in Dallas with no Kyrie and no Luka, so there's the case. But Memphis might not be ready to take another step forward this season. After last year's Western Conference Finals, we all thought they were going to take another step forward this year. But because of John Morant's kind of dumb-minded decisions that he's made, it took a very, very big step back for the organization and Memphis and the city himself. So hopefully Ja gets a lot better. One person that's getting a lot better is Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, Jimmy G. Jimmy G is signing with the Las Vegas Raiders under a 3-year contract worth $65 million. 3 years under 65. That's a lot of money for Jimmy Garoppolo. That is a lot of money. But the Raiders had to do this move. They had to give up major money for a guy who is hurt every single year. I mean, I forgot when was the last year that Jimmy Garoppolo has not been hurt throughout the season. I forgot which year it was. I mean, even though he's only been in the league for about 6-7 years, give it what he played 3 years in New Orleans and maybe 4 with the Niners in the last 4 years. So what that means for the Raiders, now they have a stacked offense. There's no excuse. There's no excuse because there's one thing I've loved about Jimmy Garoppolo over the past few years is his throwing arm. He can really throw that football. He may not be able to move physically fast enough to run out of the pocket and not get hit, but Jimmy Garoppolo can throw that football. He can throw that in so many different ways where now he has Devontae Adams. He has Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. He has all these guys. There is no excuse on why the Las Vegas Raiders cannot win at least 8-9 games this season. And that's a gift right there. That's a gift for the Raiders to be possibly winning 8 or 9 games this season. That's a gift, especially with Sean Payton coming in and taking over the Broncos, making Russell Wilson a lot better, maybe win around the same amount of games, 8 or 9 games. The Chiefs, Super Bowl defending champions, still going to make the same noise there in the division, win another 13, 14 games. And the LA Chargers might be making some more noise. Of course, it did make some major signings just a few hours ago, which I will be getting more into what LA is doing. But Jimmy Garoppolo, I wish you the best with that organization because the moment you get with that organization like that, it's like you're joining the LA Clippers. You know that you are just not going to win. You have that fan base that believes are going to win every single game. They just seem to believe every time that there's a Raider game, no matter who they're playing, oh, the Raiders are going to win by 30 points. Oh, the Raiders this. Oh, the Raiders that. But now the Raiders is your team, Jimmy Garoppolo. So now you got to do something with that team. And no excuses. No excuses for Raider Nation. No excuses for the ownership in Vegas. Just no excuses for anybody. The team is set. You got a great offense. Maybe the second best offense in that division. But Jimmy, when you sign that check and you go and cash it at the bank and you're cashing out $24 million guarantee in the first year, you better play all season long. You better play all season long because believe it or not, they're going to attack you. They're coming after you, Jimmy G. They are coming at you, especially with those broken down knees, and hopefully you're able to get around that noise. But another team who was able to get around some noise over the weekend was the LA Chargers. Of course, they were about $23 million over the cap just a few days ago. Now they are under, and not just under, they now have enough money to go sign other players. How did they do that? It was some magic. It was just some crazy magic because the whole speculation ever since the Chargers lost in January the 14th against the Jacksonville Jaguars was that Keenan Allen had played his last game for the Chargers. And I said this a few weeks ago, and this is the noise that's been going on. The Chargers are going to trade Keenan Allen. That was a whole speculation because there's no way they were going to be able to work out a contract extension or some contract restructure for Keenan Allen, especially after signing Mike Williams for 5 years, $87 million, signing J.C. Jackson another 5 years, $80 million. You get Khalil Mack, you add Joey Bosa. There's just a lot to say about Tom Telesco, the GM of the LA Chargers, and ownership and Dean Spano for them to actually go for it all this year. And what I mean by that is they aren't used to this. They aren't used to paying other players, talking to their players after they sign a contract to renegotiate some sort of restructure to make some more cap room. Keenan Allen said, no problem. I'll take a pay cut. Mike Williams, hey, no problem. I'll take a pay cut. Khalil Mack, hey, I don't have a problem. If they don't have a problem, I don't have a problem. And guess what Joey Bosa said? Hey, if we're all in this, I'm in it too. All 4 major stars for the LA Chargers, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams, all took a pay cut. They all got their contracts restructured in order to keep the Chargers under the cap. That's great work from Tom Telesco to be able to make that happen. But guess what happened today? Monday, March the 13th. Guess what happened today? Starting running back Austin Eckler decides to be like, hey, you know what? This is my last year in my contract. Last year. I want a raise. If you're not going to give it to me, I want out. That was breaking news earlier today coming from Charger camp saying that Austin Eckler wants out of Los Angeles. A starting running back who led the NFL with 28 touchdowns this past season and has led the NFL over the last 2 seasons in rushing and catching touchdowns. As an undrafted free agent in 2018, what a player he has been for the LA Chargers. He has been under the minimum. He has been underpaid. He has been the top performer and the number 1 fantasy player in football. If you're the number 1 fantasy player in football and you're getting paid $6 million a year, you're in your last year of your contract, you know for a fact that you will get paid this upcoming summer. Why ruin something that the Chargers are building right now? Less than 24 hours ago, the Chargers restructured 4 major contracts, cut salary, huge. And then now you want to come on Monday and say, hey, if you're not going to pay me, I want out. The Chargers have not yet, till this moment right now, 8:10 p.m. here in Los Angeles, have not yet approved the request for Austin Eckler to talk to other teams as he is seeking a trade according to his agent, who talked earlier this morning. So with that being said, Austin Eckler might be having some last minute thoughts about, hey, do I want to stay? Do I want to leave? Because someone said earlier today that the Chargers are most likely not going to approve his request. They are going to sit down on his request and wait to the last year, which is $6.25 million. $6.25 million for a running back who led the league in touchdowns. It sucks, but hey, that was the contract you signed 4 years ago. That was your deal. You, as an undrafted free agent, you just decided to sign a contract, and little do you know, you became the best running back in the league. So you made that decision. You signed that contract. Just live up for it. Give us one more year here in Los Angeles, Austin Eckler. Give us one more year, and I guarantee you, you will get paid this next upcoming offseason. You will get paid. All right, so that was breaking news coming out of LA today. Austin Eckler wants out of Los Angeles. Whether the Chargers will allow his request to talk to other teams, that is to be determined moving forward. But when we come back here on Monday Night Fredo, I will be talking a little bit more about football. More trades, more signings were going on. Of course, I got to a little bit right now, but right after that, I will talk a lot about the LA Lakers and why the Clippers may be the best team in LA. I don't know. I'll let you know when we return here on Monday Night Fredo.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. You more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on Monday Night Fredo, myself, Fredo Cervantes. And yes, just talked a little bit about the breaking news that we had earlier today with the Oakland Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. But as we were talking about the Chargers, there are more signings that just happened right now. Just about 2 hours ago, 6 p.m. Pacific time here in Los Angeles, the Chargers agreed to a 2-year deal with former Vikings linebacker Eric Kendricks, formerly a UCLA linebacker and a 3-time Pro Bowler for the Minnesota Vikings, has now signed with the Chargers for 2 years. What does that mean exactly? So let me stop you there. Let's count on the defensive end, because now this defense that the Chargers have is one of the best in the NFL right now. And I can just tell you, there are about a total of 15 Pro Bowl appearances on the defense for the LA Chargers. And someone told me today, well, what's a Pro Bowl appearance? What's a Pro Bowl selection? Well, come on, guys. That's like the All-Star game for baseball and basketball. It's the All-Star game where, the Pro Bowl is not the most watched football game out of the year, but it's kind of exciting. This year they made it a little exciting. They played some little flag football and whatnot. But Eric Kendricks, he is no scrub. This guy's a beast as a linebacker. This guy will run you down. I've followed the Minnesota Vikings over the past few years. I see everything they do. And Eric Kendricks, he's been a weapon of theirs that I do not understand why the Minnesota Vikings let him go. He even said on Instagram just a few days ago, he's like, hey, man, Vikings came up to me and they said they have to do a business decision. I get it. This is a business. See you guys wherever I go. That was 6 days ago. 6 days later, he signs with the LA Chargers. So we understand that the time he was not maybe ready to leave the Vikings. So he has a little chip on his shoulder coming into LA. He's from Los Angeles, went to UCLA, been playing the last 7 years with the Minnesota Vikings. Now coming to Los Angeles with the defensive mind coach like Brandon Staley. So Brandon Staley is creating a defense like no other right now. The offense, on another hand, pretty impressive. Gerald Everett looking to possibly re-sign as well with the Chargers. First year with the Chargers last year, Gerald Everett was amazing. Great tight end who was able to run all the great plays under that head coach, Brandon Staley. But I hope Gerald Everett should stay in LA. Do whatever they can, Tom Telesco, to keep that man in LA. But another guy that the Los Angeles Chargers did not let go was backup quarterback Easton Stick. Quarterback Easton Stick signed a 1-year deal extension with the Chargers this year worth a little over $3 million. So with that being said, you got another quarterback behind Justin Herbert, behind QB Daniels. You got those two guys out there that can maybe protect Justin Herbert just in case something else happens with Justin Herbert. But something will happen with Justin Herbert in the next few days or possibly weeks. Of course, he is due to have an extension, one of the biggest extensions you are going to have in NFL history. I'm thinking this is the reason why Lamar Jackson is not ready to sign a contract yet. Justin Herbert is next in line to get his contract as he is entering his last year in his rookie deal. The Chargers need to sign Justin Herbert very, very soon, and they will, as Tom Telesco admitted to it during the combine, said, we will give Justin Herbert what he deserves. Whether it's over $350 million, whether it's $200 million guarantee, they will pay the man. So it's going to be exciting to see what more NFL free agency moves come around. But one more that happened in LA, and before I go into basketball here, the Los Angeles Rams are now selling out. They are selling out. They won a championship, and they're like, you know what? Let's give everybody up. We don't want them no more. They lost 3 defensive players, and, of course, their main defensive player they traded away in Jalen Ramsey. They traded Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins on Sunday morning, and they shipped him out of here after he signed a 4-year contract almost worth $75 million at the beginning of last season. So you just signed a contract thinking you're going to stay here in Los Angeles. But Jalen Ramsey was shipped out, and it was very interesting to see this because when I saw what Jalen Ramsey tweeted right after he found out about the trade, and he said, hey, man, this is something I was hoping would happen over the last 3 weeks. So something escalated over the last 3 weeks where there was just some miscommunication, whether, McVay wants to just worry about the offense because that is a rumor out there that McVay thinks that the Rams have spent too much money on the defensive end, especially giving that money to Aaron Donald last year and Jalen Ramsey. And they felt like they were now held with no weapons on the offensive end, only having Cooper Kupp healthy. If healthy, that's it. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to stay healthy or not. But with the Lakers, all I want is Anthony Davis to stay healthy. I don't know if that's the case. But when I return here on Monday Night Fredo, I will let you know the key reason why the Lakers might miss the playoffs when we return.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
And we're back here on Monday Night Fredo live from the Infinity Studios in Los Angeles. And guys, if you guys missed it last night, I was actually on the Profanity Nation podcast, which you can catch them every Sunday night, 8:30 Pacific here on Infinity TV. But we had a lot of fun last night. So if you missed that show, make sure you go and check us out right here and hit the subscribe button because you're going to get notified every single time Infinity TV got a show. They're coming right straight to you. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button, and get notified when we're live because last night was a blast. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I'm gonna say this about the Lakers. And before I do get to Anthony Davis, which he is going to be the man of the hour right now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the other guy who was the man of the week last week when Memphis visited the Lakers. And Pau Gasol, former two-time champion for the Los Angeles Lakers, got his jersey retired last Tuesday at the Crypto.com arena right beside Kobe Bryant's jerseys. And that moment itself was amazing to witness and see because I remember the day Pau Gasol got traded to the Lakers. I remember in 2008, in early February, in the first week, where the Lakers acquired Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown. That is crazy. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but today is Kwame Brown's birthday. So happy birthday, Kwame Brown, because if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Jordan picking you first overall in 2002, I mean, hey, we would not have had Pau Gasol and would not have beaten the Boston Celtics in 2010 because Pau Gasol was the man in Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant was having one of the worst playoff games of his career and maybe one of the worst. And technically, that was his last game of his NBA Finals career. That was the last game of his NBA Finals career, and he had one of the worst shooting nights. If it wasn't for Pau to pick up the night, scoring 24 points, getting some big crucial rebounds, and playing great defense on Rasheed Wallace, Kendrick Perkins, and those guys down there, they would not have carried that championship trophy at the end of the night here in 2010. But Pau Gasol, congratulations. Your jersey is now retired. Next step is Hall of Fame, which is no doubt you will get in there very, very, very soon. But yeah, congratulations to Pau Gasol. Number 16 is now hanging in the rafters. And hopefully, according to Anthony Davis, he said after the game, I hope my jersey is up there maybe one day. I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. yes, you got one championship with the Lakers right now. I don't think you are a top talent, and I don't want to take that away from Anthony Davis. He's a top talent, one of the best out there. But I don't think he's no freaking Will Chamberlain. Really? When Darvin Ham, the head coach of the Lakers, says, "Hey, that's Wilt Davis." Wilt Davis. I mean, I get it. He's good. He's really good. But you cannot give him the nickname Wilt. I mean, Shaq was as dominant as maybe Wilt. Davis is not that, man. I mean, he might give you one of those nights every 10 games because that's exactly what he gives us. He's not consistent out on the court out there. How many points did he score on Friday night? And what was his remarks after Friday night's win? Exactly what came out of his mouth. He was like, well, look, we won. I know I had a bad shooting night, but we won. We got D'Angelo Russell now. He had oh, my God. D'Angelo Russell on Friday night was, I don't want to say he was like Kobe, but it looked like it out there. The way he was shooting the ball, just getting everybody involved. It's a different excitement around the team right now. Different excitement. And maybe a lot of the excitement's coming out of Russell Westbrook not being in the locker room no more. That drama's down there in the Clipper locker room right now, but doesn't seem like it right now after they won 4 games in a row. But why is Anthony Davis the reason the Lakers not going to make the playoffs? He's not consistent. That's key. I mean, he's not. I cannot call Anthony Davis a superstar no more. I can't call him a superstar. He's maybe an all-star. He's maybe like Donovan Mitchell status because Donovan Mitchell can drop 71 points one day, then the next game he's going to give you 9 points. Like that's lopsided right there. That's inconsistent. I gotta have more from Anthony Davis. I just gotta have more. And those retarded comments from Darvin Ham saying he's Wilt. That is maybe the dumbest thing I've heard Darvin Ham say over the last 6 months since he's been a Laker head coach. Dumbest thing ever. It's ridiculous to think that Anthony Davis is Wilt. Get the hell out of here with that. And the next thing I'm gonna go ahead and talk about right now because Anthony Davis at times is so awful that when I see other basketball players like Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic, those are consistent ball players. Those are guys that stay healthy out on the court and can't really perform and put their teams up at the top of the conference. How are the Lakers at the bottom and Anthony Davis maybe your best player in the team and LeBron James being out for so much time? How can you be 13th in the West? You tell me there because it's ridiculous. It's very bad to see what the Lakers are right now. But Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, I think those are your 3 finalists for the MVP this year. Like I mentioned, we're 15 games away from ending the regular season. Nikola Jokic might take the thing. Giannis might be second. And I think Jason Tatum is going to be third on the finalist for the MVP, even though I think he has had a better year than both of those two guys out there. I'm not here to discredit what Joel Embiid has done this year, but I don't think Joel Embiid has done enough or been healthy enough to be considered to get the MVP. Tatum has been on the court all year long, and Giannis has been on the court all year long as well. Missed a few games there. But Nikola Jokic might be the man who's going to walk away with the trophy. And that's going to be 3 in a row. That's going to be 3 in a row. I'm not a fan of that. But if that's what's going to happen, and if that's what the writers are going to force in Nikola Jokic, then by all means, give the man the trophy. Let's go ahead and move on because we all know Denver ain't going to win a championship. And that might be the only trophy that Denver might get, which is an MVP trophy coming out of Nikola Jokic. But to finish off the show right now, I know there was a lot to talk about today, but of course, you can always tune in tomorrow afternoon. I'll be on the breaks Tuesdays at 12 o'clock, and I'll give you guys more recap about what's going on the daily sports world here today. Right now, as we're taking off from Monday Night Fredo, we are Team USA up by 11 runs, 12-1 in the 3rd inning. Whew, they are kicking some behind over there against those Canada boys. But that'll be all here from myself, Fredo Cervantes, and I'll see you guys next Monday night as we had an amazing show. Catch me on the break tomorrow afternoon. We'll see you then.